I die, what's happening? That changes your whole life. So ladies, that's all, or try.
I do need it, and I have found that, you can't, when you really need, and have no other way to do it, that, you've got a list of other services here that can help, and I've got a list of 2 pages long of services that will help. So I can't depend on Grafton, I can't depend on Faith in Action, but I've got a lot of different places that one of them is gonna be able to help me. And so I think that it's, we need more information to get out to some of our seniors and our disabled people, that, Grafton can't possibly do everything for everybody, nor could Rutland. But there are all kinds of other, places that can help.
I have a handicapped son in a wheelchair. Now, the only way he can get is on the bus, because they got a lift. A lot of these other places do not have that. So that leaves me out, besides the bus. At least I don't know of any that have a lift of any kind to get him in and out. So the bus is my savior as far as actually.
And that was one of the requirements when they did the bus
Yeah.
7 years ago. So,
Before that, I had a husband in a wheelchair. So I guess the night was me in the wheelchair.
Well, I think your big culprit is Sun City too. I called over at Sun City, the head of Sun City, and he informed me that 4 years ago, they talked about transportation. And they decided that they were not going to it further. It's important to have Thai cooking, and go to Las Vegas, ballroom dancing. So come on, Sun City, wake up. You're not always gonna be in great shape yourselves,
I do know that this committee last summer tried to approach Sun City Association to get additional funding, and it did not pan out.
Well, I'm paying $867 every 3 months. I can't afford anymore.
Yeah.
So
I
please don't
know, I'm
raise my
just-
association.
No, but I'm just saying, we were trying to get additional funding from some resources, so, but,
Yeah, raise my taxes.
Yeah, oh, please
you've
don't.
got enough entities around here that's gonna raise your taxes.
Yeah, right.
Forget about the tulips. We don't have to have coordinated color all the time.
Diane, what it does say about going to the store and whatever, because they do have their trips to the Jewel and Walmart are on Tuesdays and Thursdays mornings. There is, which I understand that. My mom lives in Schaumburg Township. They, if she goes to the doctor, she knows that she has to take the bus. If I can't take her, whatever, she has to make it on a specific day, her appointments. So that, that's streamlining, that I can understand.
A lot of these senior citizen communities, Friendship Village, for instance,
Yes.
has their own bus.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
you know
do.
what it costs to live there?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I know
I
it's
do.
costing me to not have my driveways, the ice taken out of them, $833 every 3 months. You
Sure.
should see the sheets of ice.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I would like to see a budget, can you get a budget for the bus? What money are available?
It's on
It's in the packet.
Is it on the sheet?
It's in your packet, you had asked for that, and I made a copy, or actually Betty made a copy, and it shows you what the senior services is, and what the budget is, that's what was budgeted, and what expenses so far.
Now, what about the people who have like the ride-on carts with the basket in it, like you see, can they get those on the bus?
Yeah, they pull that.
Like the ones, like we see them at Woodman's
Right,
sometimes.
yeah,
Can
they have the
just
ride-on
bring those
ones,
onto
the
the
little
bus, like
carts.
if they're going grocery
Candy,
shopping?
do those get on the bus, Candy?
At the walkers?
People don't have those.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of the question.
She was talking about that some people have the small little rider things.
Oh, most certainly when those go on the bus, they are strapped down, seatbelted in, and then when they leave the bus, they never actually get out of it.
Okay,
In some cases, if they wanted to, I'm sure they'd be fine, we'd still strap the vehicle down,
okay.
but
It's almost like the wheelchair area. Right, it's almost like a wheelchair, okay. All right, so, even with question.
When you're taking a wheelchair, they strap you in.
Oh, yeah.
We have fewer legal services, and then we
Legal.
have fewer legal costs, and we can well afford
That's a whole
this
nother,
bus.
that's a whole nother discussion, we can't, yeah.
It's the biggest expenditure. Come on, guys.
So,
Okay?
Let's get together.
just stand together.
Joyce Swoboda, I would like to say that I appreciate the fact that Grafton continues that bus for everybody. I'm in Rutland, I don't need the bus at this point in my life, but I do definitely feel that it's a really good thing and hope it
Thank God we
continues.
got it.
When trustee Dan Ryan was living in Sun City and he was on the village board of Huntley. And John Rossi had gone to Rutland Township and they had turned him down for funding. He then went to the village of Huntley and he asked for funds there. And some of the board members weren't so keen on the idea because it's only for a small portion. They like to do everything for all the citizens. But they did, Dan Ryan pointed out, when you no longer can drive and you live in Sun City, you are virtually a prisoner in your own home. Like she said, you need that bus every day to get somewhere. You have to do things within budget constraints, but you have to have an act of kindness also. And you have to do as much as you possibly can within the budget constraints of a government entity. And I think there's gonna be a lot of changes coming to that bus.
Well, I think that our Rutland people need to start going to the board meetings and expressing the opinions. And the next board meeting, by the way, for Rutland is April the 12th,
12th at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
What do we do if we don't have transportation?
You have transportation.
You always have transportation. What did I say, February? February 12th.
What is it, April what?
No, February 12th, I'm so sorry.
It's always the second Tuesday.
February what?
12th, it's always the second Tuesday.
Okay, is there any, yes, sir.
Can I ask a couple questions about the bus? You know, I'm glad I came to the meeting because I'm learning a lot here today. I mean, we've never had this information given us. But as a businessman and a person that has to make the payroll, I'm seeing the expenses involved with the bus. And I'm seeing a total ridership for the month, if I'm reading this right, 300 rides, 307 rides. And then how do they determine the cost per ride? I see there's some rates here, but I can't, we're not even beginning to cover if you were to have your own personal car to drive to Woodstock for a couple bucks. I mean, is this an old sheet that I'm looking at? Or is this current rates?
Let me try to answer that, and then maybe one of the trustees can jump in. You know, as we said,
$3.
the bus was a grant, so there is no, in business terms, depreciation, and it wasn't capitalized, so it was just there. So the operating expense basically goes around the drivers, the gas,
Right.
and the maintenance, and the insurance. Now, is there anything else that's operating expense? So
And really, the insurance is none, because we're so heavily insured through our road
If-
commissioner with all the equipment. It's just an add-on.
I see the bus and I see it all. Maybe people could tell me, but how many people are on the bus that it can't be full.
Right,
And
no,
so, I mean,
they're not.
it would be to your advantage to have more people riding the bus.
Right.
And I don't know, I mean, there's no way that I could hardly drive my own personal car from here to Woodstock and back for that rate. So I don't know if you need to also look at that. I mean, I'm trying to look at it from a taxpayer coming at it and saying, no, everybody's here and saying they don't want their taxes increased. But in the same token, we don't want to be paying for something that only a few people are having to take advantage of. I know it's a tough situation out there, and there's people that cannot afford to have if I went to them and said, you know what, we're gonna have to increase your taxes by another $10, $15 a year, well, I'm never gonna ride the bus. Well, that may be the case, but it's almost like people have to be responsible for some of their own cost. And if you can't get the bus if you couldn't even, if you were capable of getting in a taxi, you couldn't get those rates. When we looked at this originally, we thought for what the expenses were and the few rides that we're giving, we thought if anything, it would be cheaper in the long run for us to subsidize a taxi cab versus the bus, because, I mean, we just, it's not just here. You see the Pace buses driving around in Elgin. Yeah, they have to make those routes, but a lot of times there's nobody on the bus.
Right.
Yes.
And Elgin pays dearly for that. I mean,
Exactly,
there's-
so,
they
I mean,
cover
if you
that
could, I mean,
balance.
if you could get, you know, twice or 3 or 4 times as many people on a bus, you could start, you know, and then I'm seeing the rates that would have to come up. I don't know how long these rates have been in effect, but, I mean, they're not realistic to any place in the world right now.
Can I say something, please? Why couldn't we not have somebody route the bus? You got GPSs now, you've got garments.
The cost is just too exorbitant to do routing. It would be like what this gentleman says with Pace. There would be no riders on it a lot of
No, I'm
times.
saying, why can't my?
And it's better that you call in and make the appointment
My
and
son
let them
has
come
a
and
gar-
get
he has
you.
like a garment, he has a little bit of GPS. Why couldn't we have people sit down and figure out a routing? A friend of mine in the nursing homes, they have all the doctor's appointments at the same time. They do all this, they coordinate. We have other agencies here in the community. Can we not internet with other agencies?
Yes, ma'am, that would be fine if everybody was planned at the same time. But they get calls for the bus, all different times, different places,
We have
so
a-
you cannot
We
route
have a
it.
van, we have a little van. Can we not use that for emergencies?
No.
Well, why can't we?
Yes, they could, they used to.
Yes,
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have a full bus sometimes.
Yeah.
I've had
Yes.
14 people on there.
Yes.
You know, the bus has been full and 2 wheelchairs sometimes and.
yeah, I'm gonna make a comment whether everybody agrees with me or not. You know, Grafton Township is not running this bus to make money. Probably never even break even.
No, right.
I mean, this is a
It's a
service.
service that we're
So,
giving to
I mean,
the people that
yeah,
are-
we wanna be as cost effective as possible, but you gotta remember what the goal here is.
Right.
And the goal is to take care of the seniors that are, you know, can't help themselves, you know.
As best
So, I
we
mean,
can.
right, and so, I mean, it would be nice to make money, but quite frankly, I don't think it's gonna
You
happen.
don't wanna make money,
No.
but you don't wanna go into red. You don't wanna become completely broke. You know, you can't drain for other programs.
Okay, Pam?
If you think about what your taxes, all is a globe, all of a circle. You have state, federal, county, Grafton Township, Village of Huntley, all these different taxing bodies. And they all do different things. They all have different jobs. One of the big jobs that a township does in this day and age, because we don't, you know, catch horses for people too much, and we don't, you know, if you look at what a township does, it goes back to before Paul Revere. Life is different now. But one of the things we are is a catch-all for senior and developmentally disabled people. And what we're doing, giving these bus rides, the Ride in Cane group, which I've gone to their meetings, they say the average bus ride costs between $19 and $27 a person. So that's a very high price compared to taking a taxi, compared to whatever. My mother can take public transportation in Kane County, that's where she lives, and she can call the Dial-A-Ride service, which is a Kane County group, Dundee Township, and they literally send a taxi to go get her. Now, that's a very expensive way to do business, but it's there because they have such a huge population. We have a small population in Grafton. What we're doing here is keeping people out of nursing homes. My mother pays almost $2,000 a month to live in an independent living place that has a bus. When you go graduate up to assisted living, it's about $4,000 and up. And then when you go into full nursing home, it's easily $8,000 and up. What we're trying to do is to keep people out of the county nursing home, out of local nursing homes. We're trying to keep them in their own homes. It's the cheapest way to live. And you're lowering the entire tax burden at one time. I'm talking, if you send people up to the county nursing home, rather than letting them stay in their own home, and just taking a ride once or twice or 3 or 4 times a week, whatever it need be, it's much cheaper. So you have to look at not just that little one line item. Everybody says, oh, get rid of townships. If you do that, your county bill will be higher. It will not be cheaper. You're not washing one to get rid of the other. Townships do things on very small budgets, and frankly, with a lot of volunteer help. And that's what we need to get back to.
What is your name?
Pam Bender.
Okay, are there any more comments?
I have one quick question, I'm out of here then, I'm sorry. I'm learning here today.
Well, we're glad you're here.
The other alternative transportation, now, is there, what is that limited to, or how do you, what are their services, I guess?
The other ones are like Faith in Action, and you contact those people, and you have to contact them a few days ahead of time.
Okay.
Set up, that they come and take you and.
They're doing basically the same thing that this bus will do?
And then
Yes,
some,
They're doing more.
yes. they
So
do.
are they overburdened, or, I mean,
No.
are they,
No.
who finances them?
Themselves.
Themselves.
No,
It's all volunteer.
Volunteers?
No, they're not.
Fundraisers,
I'm sorry?
fundraisers.
Yeah, fundraisers, and they're all volunteers. Nobody
Do
gets
they
paid.
charge for
Don't
a
you
ride
have
or
this
anything?
sheet on
No.
your,
No charge?
in your folder?
That's
Yes.
what he's looking at.
And there's Integra Express van that will take
Okay,
you
so
for
that's through local churches and that, faith, or faith.
Integra
Hospital.
is separate from
Okay.
Faith in
Okay.
Action.
They travel more at a longer time span, you can maybe get them.
Do the people here take advantage of these services, or just?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
many of them do.
What's the restrictions?
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you have to be a certain financial level before you can?
No.
No. So even well-to-do people could use this service if they need it.
If this was a completely volunteer thing, would we be better to combine services, or? In the money that we spent on a bus here, could we work with the local church or whatever this is?
No, no.
You can't do that? Okay.
They cannot offer a lift.
Right, they don't
Okay.
have a lift,
Okay.
and where we have
Okay.
from the,
That's my problem, a lot of places have no way of getting a wheelchair.
And so if you have a wheelchair, that would be the only time you would have to use this service,
Or a
our bus?
walker, or you can't go
Walker.
upstairs.
If you can't get on the bus yourself, you can still use, it says here in this, you have to be able to get on the bus on your own.
But if they can't do the stairs, they can borrow our wheelchair we have at the township.
Okay, all right.
But they would not assist getting on and off the bus?
Well, they
If
would-
somebody
we-
has a
we'd
problem?
Set them in the wheelchair, do them on the lift.
But like her with a walker?
Well, Candy, you talk, tell them what to do.
When I pick up Diane, she comes to the bus, she can do the stairs,
Oh, okay.
but I physically pick up her walker, fold it up, and find a safe spot to put on the bus, and
I
it's the
thought she was
same
on
process
her own.
off.
It sounded like you had to do it yourself.
No. I mean, any time that I can assist a passenger to help them get on the bus to achieve their trip, for me, it's a given, I'll do it.
Good.
And I know Don's the same way.
No, I don't.
Faith in Action is a common, ordinary person, just like myself, taking my car and picking someone up. Well, if you don't have a lift, for many of these people, it doesn't work.
Yeah, Faith in Action just uses cars.
And like Diane said as well, the bus is not just transportation, it's socialization for the seniors.
Right.
The Wednesday trips that we do, where they go to lunch, a lot of times they'll go to Papa G's and then they'll walk over to Sweet Repeats. It's so cool because they get to go shopping, they get to hang out, they get to socialize, and it's a very important thing. I mean, I'm not a senior citizen, but socialization for anyone, any age, is very important.
Yeah.
Marlene?
Yes, I'm Marlene, and I'd like to address it from sitting on the other side. I hear you saying that you are gonna continue with the bus, that there are other people in here that are,
Well, we have
Thinking-
three people running,
Three
and
people
I
running?
asked them if anybody was gonna stop when they get elected, and I didn't hear anybody say.
okay, and these people say that, yes, they will go ahead but where is the funding for the bus? Is there enough funding for the bus? I think is really what we're here for. And the other thing is that we understand that the bus drivers' hours have been cut, and so now the bus will only operate from 9 AM until 1 PM, 4 days a week.
I'm not aware of that.
That's
And I'm
not
on the
that.
board.
Well,
That's
I'm
not
not aware
true.
of that.
that is
That's
what
not
we
true.
understand
It's not
when we call.
Not true.
4 days a week, what day did it start out?
That's not true.
This would be a board action, and that's not been brought up. I'm not aware of anything like that.
I used to go to the pool from 1 to 3, and then I was told I'd go to the pool from 11 to 1. And I could understand it, because you have people, they want to make a special trip to take you to the pool. So I have seen that there has been some cuts, and I can see why there has to be cuts. We only have so much money. I mean, we can't have people going any place they want to, 2 people perhaps, sometimes there's not, on the shopping days but there are days sometimes, and maybe it's changed, but Monday and Wednesday, we may have just 2 people, maybe 3, going up to Randall.
But Diane, they just said it wasn't cut.
I'm on the bus, why aren't I going swimming from 1 to 3?
Aren't there hours, like 9 to 3 or
9 to
3.
3.
That's why it doesn't
And
be
now
hours.
they're cut from to 9 to 1.
And that won't
No,
happen.
they're not.
No, they're
That
not.
won't happen.
I
not.
think
Can we see
that-
where?
Can we ask the bus driver?
cut, are you saying?
What time do you work?
Bus drivers.
3 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Well, is it true?
I was gonna say, everybody's looking, can one person ask me the question and I will answer it to best?
Have the hours been?
The bus drivers work for me, so I'm the person with the answer to the question. Well, Diane is upset because I asked her if she might be able to go to her swimming a little bit earlier so we could use the bus more efficiently. But she has always gotten the time she's asked for.
No.
It was a simple request so we could be more efficient. But she got what she asked for and there's no problem.
If you look today, please, I'm not a child. Actually, I hate to say it, I'm 75, even though I look much younger. And Marlene and I realized, we said, wait a minute, if they can't take us, on Hairdo's Day, you've got a lot of people, they don't have to make a special trip for myself and Marlene to go to the pool. So they said, can you go from 11 to 1? I said, yeah. Last I looked at it, I'm rather obliging. I may be nasty to my son.
So what's the big deal? You're getting to the pool.
For the
Yeah,
record,
right, right, I'm not worried about it.
So the hours aren't cut, an accommodation is
hours aren't
made.
cut.
Okay.
well, why
Okay,
did you
I
say
mean-
they're cut till 1 o'clock? Marlene, why did you say that 9 to 1? Did you say that?
Because that's what
Are they
I've
cut
been
or are they not
informed.
cut?
Is that
That they
true?
work.
But Linda, the hours are not cut, is
No.
that correct?
It
Okay,
doesn't.
so I mean,
Well, wait.
Linda's in charge of the buses,
Okay.
operator, so I mean,
You know,
The board
rumors
is
are a
in charge.
problem.
all right, the board.
Yeah, the rumors are the
Rumors
problem.
are a problem.
What about the salaries for the bus drivers though? Let's look at the salaries, what they're getting now.
When there are people who need rides, we have the drivers working. When there's no people asking for rides, they don't work.
Well, in the report, we don't care.
Pretty simple.
Now I'm confused. What is it, 9 to 1?
9 to 3, Sarah.
9 to
9 to
3.
3 the hours are,
5 days
Monday
a
through
week.
Friday.
But
The
it's-
reason our office
Write that down
out
in
of
the
the
minutes now?
township doesn't open until 8, and they close at 4. So we have to have the bus
9 to 3.
go out after 8 o'clock. They usually leaves the township office about 8:30 if he's picking up someone by 9. And we have to have the last ride at 3 so that he gets the people home and the bus back at the township by 4.
This is an adjustment though, when I first took it, because it was 9 to 1. This is crazy.
Yes.
Okay, are there any more comments? Can we go?
And that won't happen, I'll fight to the living end.
What's your name, for the record?
I'm Betty Zirk.
She's a current trustee.
Yeah, I'm a current
Okay.
trustee, but I'm fighting for
voted
this bus for all of you. Oh, yeah.
Okay, item number 8, and I'll just give a little background for the new member on the board and for the other. Yeah, 8 and 9. And again, I don't know if we have any additional information, but we were investigating with the county to get another bus from Pace. And we had a county board member, by the way, she's no longer on the board.
Yeah, I know, Mary's not on it anymore.
So, but she had come to our meetings a couple times. discussing the alternatives to get a PACE bus that was supported by the state. And there were some issues surrounding it, but basically the cost was, if we got it clean, when I say clean, I think it was $1,000 you pay for it, and then you pay so much per month, $100 per month.
Right.
You have to have insurance and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It sounded like a pretty good deal. We have to go further with this thing. And we were hoping, here's where the issue comes in, we were hoping that the old bus could be sold by the township and have some cash that would be dedicated to the bus service. We don't know the answer to that question yet, okay? There were some issues, and maybe the board member from back there, because again, I was in the corporate world, and I understand depreciation and capitalization, but they don't do that in the government service. So there was some issue in how the salvage value of the old bus, because it was a grant. It was a grant, and how that was to be handled, so that has not been ironed out. So as of right now, the Grafton Township bus is going to stay as is, and then this will be further investigated by some committee.
Well, I have a letter to Mr. Bissett from John LeBay, dated September 27, 2000.
That's what I was referring to.
That's what he was referring to.
And there were some comments in that letter that we didn't quite understand about the salvage value, the depreciation value, and et cetera. So that would have to be worked out with the PACE people, if you will.
Right.
But our main contact is no longer on the county board, so we're gonna have to get a new county board contact person. I don't know.
I heard the bus was bought, there's no cost of it.
Our current bus.
Yeah.
It was a grant.
It was a grant.
And how old is the bus? How much mileage does it
Well,
have?
golly, it's about
2007, about 60,000 miles.
It's still got a, it's still got a pretty good
What does
shape.
it say? What are a good mechanic? What are they saying?
It could last a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
if you maintain a bus like that, you can get a lot of miles out of it.
Well, I could see also.
No, the whole issue of this one was, if we could take that bus and sell it, and get the money, because you get a brand new bus.
No, I don't need a new bus.
Well,
You got the cash.
It was just an idea.
The cash.
Then I'll give.
Okay, we're gonna keep the old bus.
Then I'm gonna make money.
I'm gonna do all sorts of things.
But that's not going anywhere right now, because there's a lot of questions to be answered.
Oh, my God.
And I'll get that man that has business sense. Well, that business sense, man, over there.
Okay. That was items number 8 and 9. I think discussion to put a sponsorship program and guidelines. Who's gonna lead this discussion? Barb?
Well, that's my baby.
Go ahead.
That's my baby. What I thought of, which we have discussed before, and in fact, unfortunately, Joanne's working, couldn't be here. We cannot sell advertising at all. But what you can do is we can go to businesses or places that the bus goes and whatever and ask for donations. If they make a donation, you can put a little sign up, this bus runs from donations from John Smith Company or, Dr. So-and-so, that type of thing, that you can do. So that's one of my big things, just to help supplement.
Right.
So we need a letter put together that everybody on the committee can have. Okay, yeah, because I don't want to do the letter, okay? Anyway, yeah, exactly. You committee, yeah, right. You committee have to get together and get this stuff rolling. Anyway, but that's my idea of doing this, one thing to help supplement. You know what, why not? Go around, you ask for donations.
Right, and a lot of businesses would like to put like a placard in the bus saying,
So,
services donated by
I think that's a very good idea.
Rich.
If for we had this at Bravehearts, where families would donate $20, can the riders themselves donate as well? If they want, I know some of the people.
oh, if like a writer's family says, well, hey, I could,
Yeah.
honey, anybody can.
Okay.
Yeah, they could do that if they wanted, sure. But make it like a little thing if, I don't know,
a sign.
what's up, honey?
That was basically my question too, is people who are riding the bus, who need to ride the bus because they need to get out of the house, they're physically unable, but they have financial backing.
Means.
And, yeah, and they could afford to pay a little bit more. I mean, I'll do due diligence on it and find that stuff out, and that could be very helpful.